Hi, welcome to this video series on Cucumber. In this video, we are going to see some demos on how you can use the tags. So let's get started. Before we start running any of the feature file, one important thing to note here is that the tags are inherited in the feature file during the execution, which means that any tag given at the feature level will be inherited by its child and the grandchild, which in this case is scenario and the examples tags respectively. And any tag given at the scenario outline level will be inherited by its child, which in this case is example. Now let's take a look how the tags are inherited during the execution by running a scenario. From this feature file, I am going to run add scenario tag using my runner. So let's run it and see the result. You can see in result that this scenario did not had the add feature tag, but when the execution is done, in the result you can see that add feature tag is also present. Now let's run tag at examples row 1 present at the examples element in the scenario outline. After the execution, you can see that the result had the tags from the feature and the scenario outline elements. In the part 1 video of Cucumber tags, we discussed that tags are used to bind the scenarios together. So let's see this in demo now. I have two feature files. First, feature file 1 and second, feature file 2. There are three scenarios in feature file 1. The first one having the tag add scenario tag, the second having add scenario outline tag and add another scenario outline tag, and the third having the add regression tag. And in the feature file 2, I have scenario with add regression. Now, if you want to run all scenarios with only add regression tag, then you need to specify that in your runner. And when you run it, in the result file, you can see that two feature files were executed and only those scenarios which had the add regression tag got executed. You might be wondering what I'm trying to say here when I say tags are case sensitive. Let's go back to the previous example again and let's see what does it mean. In the previous example, we ran the scenarios which had the add regression tag. Now I just make a slightly mistake. Instead of writing the small case regression, I change the R with the capital case, and then when I run it, you can see that none of the tests got executed. So you always need to make sure that the tags that you specified in your runner, it matches with the tag which is also present in your feature file. Let's first see what are the different operators available for the tags. There is an operator called AND, OR, and NOT. Let's see why we use the operators. So basically, operators are used to create the conditions, and that condition is applied to identify the scenarios which will be executed during the execution. Operators are case sensitive, and we specify the operators in the runner or the command line parameter which accepts the tag name. I'm going to show two feature files to you which I have used throughout this video. First feature file is already on the screen, and I want you to pause the video when I show you the second feature file. And when you're going to pause the video, I want you to remember, if you have a strong memory, or note it down on a piece of paper, what are the names of the tags present at the feature or at each of the scenario elements in the feature file. So now let me show you the second feature file, and you can pause the video and note down the tags. In this example, we are going to see how the AND operator is used. And here onwards, you can also start visualizing how the tag inheritance plays a crucial role. If you remember, I gave at regression tag in my JUnit runner, and when I ran it, it basically ran two scenarios, one from each feature file. Now I am going to make some changes into this JUnit runner. I will put AND operator, and I will also use a one more tag. When I run this, can you make a guess which scenario is going to execute and which one is not? Pause the video and make a guess. Come back again and see what's the result. In the result, you can see that only one scenario from feature file 1 is executed. To understand why I did not execute scenario from feature file 2, which also has the regression tag, let's go back to our earlier understanding of tag inheritance and think which tags are actually applied to both scenarios during execution. Scenario from scenario feature file 1 will have two tags during the execution. The first one is at regression and the another one which is inherited tag at feature. And the scenario from the feature file 2 will also have the tag at regression and the inherited tag at feature 2. And if you remember, we had given the tags at regression and used operator and the tag at feature. So when we ran it, only one scenario qualified for that, and that one is from the feature file 1. Now let's take a look at the example for OR operator. In my runner, I will change AND operator with OR operator. Can you guess which scenarios are going to get executed? Pause the video, think about it, and resume watching. In the result, you can see that it executed all the scenarios from both the feature files. So let's use the tag inheritance to find out tags on each of the scenarios and see how runner will pick scenarios when OR operator is applied. On screen, you see both the feature files side by side. Now let's first see how tag inheritance will look like. In our runner, we had given OR operator, and tags we had given were at regression and at feature. When OR operator is applied, then during execution, only those scenarios will be executed which has any of the tags specified with OR operator. At regression tag is present on following scenarios, and at feature tag is present for these scenarios. If you see, all scenarios basically qualify for execution, and we saw in our result that all the scenarios got executed. Now let's take a look at the example for NOT operator. Here I will say NOT at regression. Let's pause the video and think which all scenarios are going to get executed. I assume that your guess is correct this time as well. It executed only 3 scenarios from feature file 1 and none from feature file 2. Let's find out why. Let's recall the tag inheritance and remember how tags are applied. In our runner, we had specified NOT operator with at regression tag. So when you use the NOT operator, then during the execution, all scenarios which has the regression tag will be excluded from the run, and rest of the scenarios will be executed.